So hello and welcome to the Dharma.life podcast. I'm your host, Aloise.life, and today I have with me a past student, somebody who has gone on to do great things. Kerri Powell, welcome to the Dharma.life podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, not at all, not at all. Well, when I met you, you were a teacher, and
Mm-hmm.
you are a counsellor and holistic therapist. So you've been on a journey, haven't you?
I have a bit, yeah, it's slightly different.
Very different. I remember when we met that you'd kind of peaked in your teaching career and you weren't enjoying it anymore.
Yeah.
And was that when you came into Dharma?
It was just before. So I left teaching just the year before.
Right.
And then Dharma happened the end, I think, roughly of the following year. So I gathered myself together a little bit. But yeah, and I think I sort of had time to sit and think about what was actually quite important. And that's when I started seeing you everywhere. You were on lots of people's podcasts that I'd started to follow, and you just kept popping up. So I thought, well, there's a reason for that. So that's how I ended up there.
Okay, so that's why you took the plunge with Dharma.
Yeah. Also, it started on my birthday that year. And I thought, well, that's a sign, isn't it? I've got to listen to that.
So would you say you were quite spiritual at that time?
Yes, I was just sort of sneaking in through the door, kind of. I got my first tarot deck, and I'd been to some spiritual fairs. I was interested, but I didn't really know how to progress with it. I didn't know how to learn any more, which is why I was on YouTube trying to find spiritual things. That's probably why you kept popping up.
Right. And what would you say was, do you have like a specific spiritual awakening or?
Not really. Well, oh, strangely, yes, I suppose I did in a way. I went out for lunch with a friend and I wanted a green crystal necklace to go with something. And so she took me into this crystal shop, and this man that owned the shop just kept telling me all this information about myself, and it was crazy. And yeah, it was amazing. We were there for about 3 hours and I didn't even get what I wanted, but I got everything else, and everything changed from that day. So I went home, started researching, bought myself some cards, started using everything I could, and yeah, everything just started falling into place from there.
Wow, so he was like a catalyst for you.
Mm. Yeah, it's strange actually, because I used to pop in and see him and let him know what I was doing and things, because he could see how much I was changing. And then once I went and the shops all closed and they've moved, so I don't know what happened to them. It was like he was there when I needed him and then he went again.
Wow, so it's interesting how we can have that influence on other people, how we can
Mm.
support them, and I presume the Dharma Life Academy was part of that growth.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I didn't really know what I was doing and where I was going. I started working in an office and I really hated it. I even said to one of the other guys there, this isn't what I'm here to do. This isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. And then, and all the Dharma stuff then turned up. And I thought, oh, well, I don't really know what, because I'd wanted to teach since I was a child, since I was at primary school. Because at that age, that's all you know, isn't it? It's only what your parents do, and teachers are the only adults you really know. So I kind of fell into it in a way. And, my parents thought it was a really good job, and my grandparents thought it was a really good job. So I was quite sort of pushed along. And I can remember when I was at university, I was a bit like, do I want to do this forever? Do I really love it? That this will be my entire life? And I thought, well, it's too late now. I've got to just go along with it. And during that time, in my last teaching practice in the last year, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which you recommended actually when I started Dharma, because I was very anxious, particularly about my health, because it felt sort of very out of control. You recommended a couple of books about the emotions that bring on certain health conditions. So, doing some research into that, I realized it was to do with anger and suppression and like being the good girl, all those sorts of things. And that makes perfect sense with why I carried on with the training. So,
So would you say that you were doing the training? Oh, sorry, this is the teacher training, is it? Even
yeah,
though you weren't happy.
yes. Yeah, I thought I was sort of too far down the line then, because my parents were like, oh, I'm the first, I'm an only child, so I was the first person in our family to go to university. My grandparents thought it was, they were telling everyone, and I just thought, God, I can't back out now. I can't not do this now because everybody's so pleased with my with me for doing it. So yeah,
Expressing those emotions, you think, caused the colitis?
possibly, yeah, yeah. I was definitely on the wrong track, and I think my body eventually was just like, stop. You can't, you shouldn't be doing this. But I didn't listen because I didn't understand at that point. So I just kept going with it.
Mm. And when you say understand, what do you understand now?
Just how important it is to listen to your body and to listen to signs, because they're everywhere all the time. We have a team trying to help us all the time. And if you're not listening, I think you've actually said this, they throw pebbles. And then if you don't listen, you get a boulder because
Yeah,
you're just not listening. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And I think the universe, as we know from doing Dharma, when we go in the wrong direction, like you said, we get pebbles thrown at us if we're going the wrong track. Until we start listening, we get boulders thrown at us, and then we have some sort of breakdown or change of direction. And it sounds to me like you had left teaching though by the time you started Dharma, hadn't you?
Yes, yeah, because I got so ill with the ulcerative colitis that my doctors wanted to put me on immune suppressants. And I said to my parents, I can't, because I taught reception in year one. So they were sort of 4 to 6 years old. And I said, there's no way, I was ill all the time anyway, you know what children are like. So I just said, there's no way I can not have an immune system and work in this environment. And also they could see by then, I really wasn't happy in a lot of different areas. They could see that I wasn't happy. So they were fine. And this is another thing I've learned, when I do speak my truth, everyone's fine with it. It wouldn't have been a big deal, I don't think, if I'd said, I don't think I want to do this. But I get it. I suppose the expectation is so sort of in your head that you don't want to let people down and everything. So they were absolutely fine. They completely supported me. I moved home, and like I said, got a job in an office, doing bookkeeping and accounts and general helping with the running of everything. And that's when I joined Dharma.
Right. Okay. And how did Dharma help you discover what you were supposed to be doing?
I think because there was quite a big emphasis on following the breadcrumbs. Like if you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter. Just follow the signs and go where it leads you. And also, I think we did 2 weeks before Dharma started of a challenge called Follow Your Highest Excitement. And I use that term probably every day now because it's so important to actually do that because it's such a sign from your body. If someone suggests you do something, you say, oh, that would be amazing. And then your brain kicks in and thinks, oh, actually, how would this work? Blah, 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 and comes up with all the reasons not to do things. So definitely following your highest excitement and just it's okay to not know what you want to do with your life. But you have certain gifts and certain talents and things that you enjoy. And I think until you start talking about those sorts of things, you don't realize that I often think people are the same as me, but other people have different gifts and talents and things that they enjoy, and that's the path they should be on. So it taught me that, I can do things that come naturally to me and make money and enjoy myself.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? Like
Mm.
basically we can do what we love, what comes naturally to us, what is easy for us, and still make money.
Mm.
That's perfect. That's where you want to be. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
you've trained as coach, I think, as well, haven't you? And
Yes.
holistic therapist and now a counsellor. So
Mm.
talk to me a little bit about what you're doing in the world now.
So I am doing, let me have a look because I've written it all down because I'll probably forget bits. So I'm still doing tarot. Tarot is like my first love. That's what I love
That's
doing.
what you got into first of all, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's actually in 2020. So I did Dharma, I think it was 2019 I did Dharma. Could have been 18, but I think it was 19. Um, and in 2020, I left the office job and set up my own sort of tarot business. And that's when I did my spiritual life coaching qualifications as well. So I kind of tied them together. So I'm still doing that. I do Reiki, energy healing using the Healy. I should have brought it with me actually to show you. But that's a really good little device for using for energy healing and changing your vibration and stuff. EFT, obviously counselling. And the counselling came about actually because I was giving someone a tarot reading they booked. Well, it's tarot guidance. It's not like future telling. It's more sort of trying to work out what's going on for you and what's going on subconsciously and developing that way. And they said, "Are you a counsellor?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, you should be because you're being one. You are one. You just don't realise you're doing it." So that's how that all started. That wasn't at all on my radar of things, but it fits in perfectly with everything else that happens. Because I quite often find, we'll have a counselling session, and then if they're open to that, then sometimes I'll pull some cards or do some Reiki with them, or something. It kind of all complements each other. And I'm currently studying. I should graduate in a couple of weeks. A modality called conscious coding, which is all about neutralizing trauma. So it, it's a bit tricky sometimes. So you have like this event that happened, and the reason it's traumatic is because there was an expectation and the reality didn't fit that expectation. So it's all about merging those two scenes together. So you neutralize the overwhelming emotions. And yeah, it's incredibly powerful because I had it done on me, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, I need to know how to do this. So yeah, so hopefully a couple of weeks and I'll qualify in that as well. And I'm one of the only international students, so I'm one of the only English speaking practitioners in that.
Wow, that's fantastic. So it kind of neutralizes any trauma you're holding, is it?
Yeah, yeah. So it can work for pain, it can work for sort of PTSD, it can work for all kinds of different things. It kind of takes it a little bit beyond. So things like EFT, I find are brilliant in the moment to sort of calm you down, to get that emotion out, that kind of thing. But I often find that sort of 1 or 2 weeks later, you feel the same about the situation again. So with conscious coding, you go sort of into the memory, but you don't put yourself back into the situation. You watch it on a screen in front of you. So it's not as overwhelming as actually being in that physical situation again. And yeah, so you sort of talk about and you really feel into the reality and talk about the emotions and everything. And then you feel into the expected reality, your expectations of it. And then you kind of put them together, like, when you, doesn't happen so much now, but when you've got a negative and you sort of develop a photo, two photos onto one, and it's sort of, you can see images of both, it kind of works out. So it's like that. So you know what happened still, and you can explain what happened, but it just takes that emotion out of it because it just neutralizes the whole situation within you. It's incredible.
So it would be useful for somebody, say if they were feeling stuck in a certain area and they had like trauma in a certain area, you could neutralize that trauma with the conscious coding.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that sounds really incredible. I've not come across that before.
Mm. It's fascinating, and you can use it on, like I say, on every situation, even big T trauma and little T trauma. Kind of, it doesn't have to be something monumental. It can be, like the dog was sick this morning and now it's caused me anxiety. That kind of thing. You can kind of neutralize it quickly that way.
So who would be the type of person that you would work with?
Well, anyone really, anyone who's wanting to sort of move forwards, sort of leave that emotional kind of anchor behind. You know, the things that from the experiences that we have, we tell ourselves a story of how things are, and it sort of neutralizes that story. You know, it makes that not become real, so you can push forward and you can achieve what you'd like to.
So if you've got a negative story around something that happened to you in your life,
Mm.
this would be a really good way of basically reframing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, that sounds really interesting. Really nice.
Mm.
So you, from what I can hear, you're a holistic therapist and you can delve into your kind of pot of different resources and different trainings and then apply the correct one for the person when they're sitting in front of
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
you. Excellent. And talk to us a little bit more about the community. Like what did you get out of Dharma when you were doing it?
Oh, well, I've got lifelong friends for a start. I meet up with Louise sometimes because we don't live that far away from each other. Um, and another lady lives about 20 minutes from me, Debbie. And then I speak to others on the phone. I mean, one of the ladies in Canada, we speak. We're terrible at actually speaking regularly, but when we do speak, we speak for about 4 hours at a time. So,
Great.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, Kat as well. I speak to Kat often. You know, we do similar work, so we often sort of chat about what we're doing and what we've found and what works, what doesn't. You know, all those sorts of things. So yeah, I say I've got four really brilliant friends that I know that I can just pick the phone up to and just say, oh my goodness, this, and this. But also, you know, I'm friends with a lot of people on Facebook still as well, and whenever anybody says anything about their business or anything about their private life, you know, you're there straight away because we built such a bond. You know, we were so vulnerable and so open, and there was no, you know, like asking how the weather is or, you know, that kind of conversation. You know, no shallowness. It was all deep straight away. You know, we were right in there talking about what lights us up and what really makes a difference in our lives, and it creates a really strong bond that you actually care about the other people, you know, and you want them to succeed and you want to know how they're doing.
Yes. So the community was a big thing for you.
Huge. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And what else would you feel you got out of it? Like if you're talking, who would you suggest does the Dharma Life Academy?
To be honest, I think everybody, but particularly if you are feeling stuck. If there's something going on and you just don't know which way to turn, whether it's something like, you know, you have either had to or you've decided to leave your career, you know, the thing that you thought you would always do, and then you're kind of feeling a bit floundering. Dharma just gets you to center in on those important things in your life, and the way you coach, like you don't tell anybody what they should be doing, or I don't know, you coax it out of us, you know, what, so you empower us to know what to do next and to trust that gut feeling and to trust following the breadcrumbs and all that sort of stuff, because you understand, and so it makes us understand that we'll get to the right place, and it doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter. I mean, you know, like I just said about the counselling, that a client said, why don't you try counselling? I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like it would go with everything else that I try and do. So, you know, you don't always end up where you think you're going to end up. And I think kind of letting go of expectation and going with the flow is really important.
Yeah, and I think what you've done so well, like hearing your journey, is you are doing your Dharma because what you're doing is you're watching things unveil and you're taking
Mm.
action to unveil themselves. So that's one of the things when you're on a right path of action, when you're on your Dharmic path, basically we are given signs and signals that we need to follow the breadcrumb trail. And like you said, sometimes suggestions can come from outside of that, from clients or from other people. And then seeing how they resonate with is listening to that sign and signal of whether you want to do it going forward. And you're taking that action and evolving and growing along your spiritual path.
Mm.
So well done.
Thank you.
And what's next for you? So you said you're doing this
Conscious, conscious coding.
conscious coding, and then you're going to put it all together. So you've got this toolbox of things for people. Have you got anything else you're planning to do? It sounds like you've done so much training.
Not really, no. I'm just focusing now on just it just I enjoy just helping people and allowing them to talk. And so that's always like the first sort of thing. And then, as you said, just adding all the different things that I do. I also know people who do other bits and pieces that I can recommend as well. So yeah, it's just moving forwards with what I'm doing, and I don't really know what will come next. I'm sure something else will come, but I'm not sure what it is yet. And
But you're
that's
happy, you're centered, you're balanced, you're doing your soul work, and no one can ask for more than that.
yeah.
And if you look at your life now, did you imagine it would turn out like this?
No, not at all. No. No, I never it's really strange actually because when we first moved here, because we moved here in 2021, um we were doing meditations a lot about what we wanted our life to look at. And I had this office up in the roof, which is where I am, up in the eaves. And that's what I imagine. That's where I imagine sitting doing my work. And that's exactly what happens now. And so, yeah, I'm very content with how everything is. And it's amazing how things work out. You don't know how they're going to. And then all of a sudden it just works out. And you think, oh, okay, thanks.
Well, you did the work, Kerri. I think that's the thing. You listen to yourself. When you're unhappy, you change things. You
Hmm.
evolve. The purpose of life is to grow and evolve. And you're growing and evolving by training yourself and evolving in that way.
Yeah,
And you've just signed up to Dharma again, haven't you?
I have.
What made you sign up again?
I just I just feel that I haven't done a lot of my own because I've been so busy training and helping other people and everything. I haven't done a lot of development work myself. So I had a few brief sessions with you at the beginning of last year, and I just thought with the online circle, and I just thought it helped me so much. It uncovered things that I had no idea had been an issue. So I just thought, yeah, I need to get back in. I need to go even deeper this time. And I think just doing Dharma again is empowering because we're in a different place. Just because I'm not that scared little girl who thought that she had to go into teaching anymore, but I still enjoy the process of, really digging into even more, what am I here to do? What am I supposed to be doing? Am I doing all the right things? If there's a little bump in the road, how do I fix that instead of going into control mode, which is what I naturally want to do? I am much better now at going with the flow and sort of being a bit more passive with things. But all this teaching and all this work, it just reinforces it again. And I think it's important to keep learning and you get something different out of it each time you do it. Because I think this would be the third time that I've done it now with you.
Excellent. Oh, thank you so much for trusting me and coming back.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Cool. And if anyone is listening to this podcast and they still want to do Dharma, then please reach out because we have a group that does it online. I teach locally at my own house, but I also teach online doing the Dharma Life Academy. So please reach out if you're interested. But Kerri, thank you so much for coming and sharing your journey and sharing your story. It's really fascinating to hear.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. And thank you for all your coaching and your help along the way. So I don't know if I'd be here if I hadn't found Dharma in you.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming back and trusting me again to do this work. And as you said, I think we're going to go deeper and look at creating that next level, Paul.
Yes. Yeah, I've got a list of some of the things that I want to achieve. So
Amazing. That's getting off on the right foot.
hmm.
Right. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. If you're listening to this and you're feeling the call, then come and seek me out. And we're going to be doing Dharma, as I said, again soon. But we will see you next week with another amazing guest on the Dharma Life podcast. Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Dharma Life podcast. I do hope you enjoyed this episode. Please come over and say hello on my Instagram, our Facebook group, and also please let me know what you thought. So if you are listening, please take a screenshot of the podcast that you are listening to, tag me on Instagram, and I will reshare your post. And please let me know what it is that you got out of today's episode. Remember, when we do our Dharma, we are happier, healthier, we live longer, and we have a deep sense of unshakable inner peace.